Welcome back, my movie lovers, to another Norman Zedrick the Critic review. I'm Alec Perez. Today I want to tell you guys a very important review. You have to be very quiet. It's the Quiet Place review. Before I begin, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to get notified about any new video that comes on this channel, okay? So, let's get back to the video. I'm just kidding. Gosh, you guys, for heaven's sakes. We're not under attack here. At least I don't think we are. But we are going to be reviewing The Quiet Place. These movies were absolutely the best movies I've ever seen. It's directed by John Krasinski. And I wanted to give a notable mention to these movies since we are going to be experiencing a child-friendly John Krasinski film called If, which is Imaginary Friends. And it comes out in May of this year. And I'm very excited about it. And we are going to be reviewing that movie, hopefully soon, once the movie at least comes out. Today, I wanted to give an honorable mention to his Quiet Place trilogy that he began, slowly gave it to a new director, which Quiet Place Day 1 comes out in July, and we'll also be reviewing that too. I believe we're also rumored to get a third movie. I'm very excited about it, but enough of all that, let's get into this review. So the first movie on our list is A Quiet Place Part 1. Now before getting into the movie and story to it, let's talk about the achievement. This received a 96% with Fresh Critics review on Rotten Tomatoes, an 83% audience score. As this didn't make a ton of money that John Krasinski wanted, but it received 341 million worldwide. A good run here as John Krasinski is stepping toward into directing. He directs a very gripping, scary movie. But let's get into the story. The story starts off with the Abbott family. They are living very quiet life. They taught themselves how to do sign language, and they live their quiet life on a farm, hunt fishes, hunt everything. The mom cooks all of that. Everything is done quietly, sign language worthy. One day, the father, Lee Abbott, portrayed by John Krasinski, took his son, Marcus Abbott, portrayed by Noah Jupe, out fishing, and things started going iffy when they left as the mother, Evelyn Abbott, portrayed by Emily Blunt, was pregnant with their next child. A lot of things going on here. Their youngest daughter, Reagan Abbott, portrayed by Millicent Simmons, she is actually deaf, so that's how the family knew sign language was from her. They obviously had to know it by heart, that way they can communicate with their deaf daughter. Things started going loose for the mother, doing laundry, checking her pulse results and her blood sugar, so that way she has a healthy pregnancy. The monsters were hearing her groaning, and the eldest daughter, Reagan, left the family, journey off her own. She wanted to journey with her dad, and her dad wouldn't let her. He thought it wasn't safe, family issues. And it started getting a lot looser as the kids were lost in order for the dad to save Evelyn. They lost their children, and the father journey off, find them, and bring them back home. He sacrificed himself in order to save the kids. It ends off with Evelyn getting prepared and releasing that gunshot in order to get ready for chaos to happen. That is the end, though, to The Quiet Place Part 1 movie. This movie was very well done. The story was great. You get to experience what it was like for the Abbott family to live a quiet life, only communicating in sign language. It was really great, and it's just a classic that will live on forever. But let's continue on into Part 2. So the next movie is A Quiet Place Part 2. Now before getting into Part 2, let's talk about the achievement this movie made. So this movie received a 91% with Fresh Critics on Rotten Tomatoes, a 92% audience score. It jumped down a little bit as this was supposed to have a 2020 release, but it released in 2021, but it received 297 million worldwide. Now I remember when John Krasinski announced for Part 2 to be released during COVID time, we were all very excited. COVID happened and he pushed it out of theaters. They've had several release dates. It was not working. So they finally had a release date in May of 2021. I saw it in theaters with a good friend of mine. It was really good. I wouldn't say this was the best as part one, but it was great to see what happened with the family and how they're gonna be living their life without the father in their lives. But let's get into the story. So the story starts off, I guess you say, back in time when the sensitive monster creatures came into being, and we see Lee Abbott, John Krasinski's character. This was a flashback. We see them at a baseball field with their son Marcus playing baseball. They noticed up the sky there were things going on, terrible things about to happen. We see the monsters finally attacking them and how it all started. Then we see them leaving the farmhouse and journey off somewhere where they could be safe and live their communicating sign language quiet life. They run into somebody, Emmett, portrayed by Cillian Murphy, a good friend of theirs. Back in the flashback, their son played baseball together and his son died, had no hope. The daughter, Reagan, wanted to go and journey off, bring her hearing aid sound. That's how it broke the monsters to die. And so they journey off together. Emmett and Reagan left the mother, son, and the newborn back where Emmett's place was. And they journeyed into a world of areas where they are complete psycho and areas that were a very good, notable life, but were not following the guidelines, being quiet. And that's where Emmett met his good friend, the man on the island. They had no name description for him, portrayed by Jimin Hanzu. And one day at that island, they were being too loud. It broke loose. The monsters were attacking them. They found the place the daughter could put to the hearing aid and capture the monsters. And that is the end to part two. Ladies and gentlemen, we just went over the Quiet Place movies, so stick around and hear my honest opinion about the movies. Alrighty, so what do I think about the Quiet Place trilogy, and am I very excited about the Day One movie? Oh, of course. I am definitely gonna go see that and rank it. What I'm very excited about that one is we get to see new characters, Danai Gurira and Joseph Quinn, portray their roles in this Day One movie. It's not, unfortunately, directed by John Krasinski. The director, I believe his name is Michael Jarnvonsky. This actually looks very beautiful. I'm a little upset since it's not John Krasinski directed, but he did co-wrote the movies. He's at least part of it. But I love this trilogy. It's freaky, it's scary, and a neat experience when you're living in a world that considered just sign language and have to be very quiet. Let's talk about the trilogy to it. It's just a very unique experience. They live on a farm in the first movie, living a sign language life, cooking dinner in the ground, living their lives to not make a sound and be together as a family. In the second movie, we don't really get to see too much of the whole quietness, which I think personally the first one was much better, just because we get to see a quiet life with this family and what they do. It's very unique. And then the second movie, we really see them parting ways at the farm and then finding where they can lead their family without the dad. I'm very excited of what the third part is going to be like. What happens with the daughter put her hearing aid and killed the sensitive hearing monster. That is, I believe I captured everything about this review, but let me know in the comments of what you thought of this review. If you are very excited for A Quiet Place Day 1, which I believe comes out in July of 2024, I am going to be reviewing that, and then also I'm going to be reviewing John Krasinski's child-friendly film, Imaginary Friends, that stars Ryan Reynolds and Kaylee Funding. I think it's going to be great. But if you guys really like this video, I appreciate if you give this video a like, and be sure to subscribe to my channel. So with that being said, thank you guys again so very much for tuning in and watching this Quiet Place movie, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.